let's work on our setup here. So, all right, scared. All right, so what I want us to kind of do is we're going to put our feet together, get in a neutral position, arms across our chest. Okay, we're going to take equal steps. Okay, good. I want you to bend from the waist just a little bit for me. There we go. Okay, now what I'm going to have you do, let your arms come down, hang down naturally for me. Okay, good. Now what I'm going to have you do, good. And now I'm going to have you kind of bump your hip just a little bit forward. There you go. Okay. And let's keep our chest a little bit back. There you go. Okay, do you see where we're at now?
Yep.
Okay, much more neutral position, better to be at, right? Now, okay, what we need to kind of do is, instead of, what you kind of do is you take the club and you bring your head down significantly, okay? We need to kind of have the feeling that we're here, right? And I need you to kind of feel like you're turning more up, okay? Let's keep that arm straightish. There you go, good, okay? Feel how your hips turning back behind you there, big guy? Okay. Good. Okay. Once again. Okay. All right, so we need to kind of feel like, give me a little bit wider stance, just a little bit. There we go. Okay. And we're really going to kind of, there you go. Okay. So you can feel that we've put a little pressure into our left side here when we've kind of pushed it that way, just a little bit, right? Now your sternum, okay, instead of being in this direction, is more in this direction. Okay, so now we're getting more behind the ball. Okay, that's going to be the big thing for you. Okay, is making sure that we get in a good position. Okay, let's do it again here real quick. Okay, good. Yes, yes, much better, much better. Okay, so there's, and I want to make sure you understand this. It's not one of those things where I go like this. I don't want you, you know, in the next week you're like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just as we kind of get in here, just a subtle, maybe 1 or 2 degrees of you feeling it back on over here, okay? And that's what's going to help us, you know, for you to turn in this direction right here, where my head's still up in a level position. Instead, for you, you kind of get here, and then the arms kind of go up and the head goes down, okay? So it's kind of like this for you, right? And you feel a lot of crunch down here on your left side right there, I bet, right? So we don't want to have that crunch, okay? We want to feel like we're kind of turning up, and we're getting a little bit of some stretch right here. Does that make sense, big guy? All right, so let's go ahead and go through our setup again, okay? Good. Yeah, there you go. You feel how your hips bump forward just a little bit? You can give me a little bit wider stance there. There you go. Good, good. Much better, okay? So as you swing the club back, okay, we want to try to have the feeling that we're trying to keep, for you to keep your head more level, okay, and more turning back this way than it coming down. Okay? So, as we go, okay, I'm going to kind of hold your head here. All right, go ahead and make a backswing. Much better. Okay? You see our head's not falling? Good. Once again. Good. Okay, good. Good. Okay, once again. Go. Now let your head kind of turn just a little bit. There you go. Okay? Your head can turn back just a smidge. There you go, right? So watch the bill of my cap here, right? When I turn, right? See where I'm at?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm allowing my head to kind of, it's staying in the same hub, but I'm allowing to rotate with my shoulders, okay? I don't want you to get to the point where you're like this, and I think we get a lot of people who are like, I got to keep my eye on the ball, right? And they start to do this.
Yeah.
Right? Does that look familiar?
Yeah.
Right? So what we got to kind of get used to, right, is allowing our shoulders and head to kind of rotate together. I'm still keeping the ball in my vision a little bit, right? But here's the good thing. The ball's not going to move, so I don't have to worry about catching up to it. As long as I'm in a good setup position and I turn behind that ball and I return, that ball's going to be in the same position. Does that make sense? Okay. But for you, when I get down here, now I've got a perspective that's different, right? So we've gone from eyes being here to over here to over here. So our low point's going to change significantly depending on what our hands do. Does that make sense, big guy? Okay. So let's set up again. Okay, good. Good. All right, feel like you got that little hip bump there, right? Now we're getting that nice reverse K. Good. Okay, good. All right, so big thing is, let's put this right across our chest. Hold that. Go ahead and hold that. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to feel like you're turning more level. Okay, turn back more level. Yes, okay, much better. Okay, once again. Much better, much better. Good job, buddy. Okay, let's take a look at this guy. I need you to look. Oop. There we go. All right. Very good position. See how you're starting to get that reverse K now? Mm-hmm. Good. So much better. You see how you're turning behind the ball?
Yep.
Okay. That's what we need to kind of see. Okay. Look how that hip's turning. That's great, pal. That's good stuff right there. Okay. All right. And to me, I would say it all starts with our setup. Okay. If you start up over here like this, then we're going to probably throw this left shoulder down to start. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But if I can get you a little bit more up and just a little shoulder tilt this way, right, and our sternum tilted just a little bit away from the target, not a lot, right? And if I can get that little kind of reverse K, okay, now I can turn that sternum and chest behind that ball with relative ease. Does that make sense, big guy? Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. Oh, yeah, I'll shake a hand, absolutely, but I'll take that too. All right, big guy, let's go with,
That's my pitching wedge.
you got a pitching wedge?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go, we'll start with that. That sounds pretty good right there. Kind of warm up here a little bit. Okay, but that's going to be the big thing we need to kind of work on. Any questions right now?
I have one question.
Yeah, please.
So, let me see the phone.
Yep.
When he was hitting balls the other night, I noticed to me that he looks like that. Whereas and I'm not saying I'm doing it right, but I'm more here. He was like here. And I'm just wondering what's the right way.
Yeah, here's a great little indicator right here, right? So what I want to kind of feel like, here's my belly button, right? I want to feel like the butt of the club is pointing just left of my navel, about an inch, okay? So I don't want to get to the point where it's pointing up here above my belly button, okay, which might be happening with him. And I don't want it back here where I've got it pointing towards my belt buckle, right? Because then I got too much wrist hinge here, okay? And then I take the toe and I lift it up, right? So the big thing is just making sure that I feel like it's just left of my navel in this position. Now, a good little way to kind of practice is just put a club in that position, right, and hold down and just feel where your arms are. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Right? So if you just kind of take the butt of the club, put it about an inch in, so kind of do like this, right? Right? That gives you a good idea, okay? And I just let my arms hang down naturally right there. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay? So that's about where your hands are going to be, and your hands are going to be pretty much right underneath your chin. Mm-hmm. Now I do need to set up just a little bit here for me. Good. Go ahead. Now I do need a little bit set up. I need some waist bend from you.
Okay.
Give me some waist bend. There you go. All right. Yep. Okay. That's going to help you as well. Okay. There you go. Yep.
Because he does tend to get tall.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that might be a little issue for us as well, okay? Okay. So here's another little indicator to help you with your hips a little bit, right? So when you set up, okay, I want you to feel like you're pushing your hips back just a little bit, okay? Put your feet together, right? Push your hips back just a little bit for me, a little bit more. There you go. That's kind of going to be more where we're going to kind of be. You see how the chest is a little bit more over the ball now? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go ahead and put our club down. Try to stay in that position a little bit. Okay, good. A little bit more waist bend. There we go. Okay, good. Okay. Have your chin up just a little bit for me. So we're going to kind of, yeah, there we go. All right, so a few things that we're probably going to need to work on as a young lad, right? We're going to need to start working on our back here. The back areas right here, I can see he's kind of a little loose on those areas right there. So we need to kind of start doing some shoulder shrugs and stuff like that to keep his spatula back. Okay. There we go, good. All right, here we go, good. All right, good. Okay, let's see how our positions look. How do you feel here? Where do you feel your weight at?
A little bit on the front.
Okay.
The hip thing, and then my spine feels like it's tilted away from the ball.
Okay, great. Give me a little bit wider stance. A little bit more. There you go. Okay. So bring the club on back slowly for me. Let's take a look at it. Okay. So, as we get here, we gotta do this here for you. So I'm gonna put this right here along our toe line. Okay. All right, so you're gonna take the club back, and I want you to get the shaft to match the alignment rod here. All right. That didn't match it, did it? Still going a little bit inside. All right, does that make sense? Okay, so as I kind of get you right here. See where we're at? That's a lot different than what you're used to, right? Okay. All right. Once again. Okay. See where our hands are right along our toe line? Now this shoulder needs to be start coming in. There you go. Okay, you see that? That's a big difference for you right there. You see how much more degree of turn we got?
Yeah.
And we're keeping it right there. Okay, once again. There you go. Okay, feel that? You see what we're doing there, Don? Okay, we're getting his left shoulder to turn more this way than just have his arms kind of go away. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, here we go once again. Okay, and now we need to be up a little bit. There we go. Okay, because then you're going to start getting that crunch on that left side, right? Okay, chin up just a little bit. All right, there you go. Okay, once again. There you go, good. Okay, all right. So now your hands are in line with your sternum, okay? Now you've turned a great amount with your chest and shoulders now. Now all we have to do is get up to the top. Okay. There you go. Okay, feel how you feel taller now, right? And we don't have the club nearly as long. Okay, you can definitely see in the video where the club starts getting way out of hand, right? That's really about where we want to feel like we stop. Okay, now your hands are going to go up just a little bit more because of momentum, right? But we don't want to get here to the top here and then keep on going. You can really see your chest starts going that way, okay? All right, so let's hit a few balls here, okay? And just try to get your club to match that toe line right there, that shaft line, okay? Soften up those arms just a little bit for me. There you go. Okay, good. Good. All right, go ahead and hit a few balls here. Kind of see what your shot pattern is today. Any questions right now, Don?
No.
Okay.
Before we go, though, I want to check the length on this too.
Okay.
I don't know if I have it too long or too short.
There we go. All right. Good. Good. Chin up just a little bit for me. Let your left shoulder turn underneath your chin. Good. Let's see where the low point is here. We're getting where the low point. Give me two more, and then we're going to take a look down the line on you, okay? Or face on, I mean. Okay. Give me one more here, big guy. How'd you feel like you hit that one?
Definitely behind it.
Okay. Let's take a look. All right, we'll go to tour parlors here. Let's take a look here. Let's see what we got here. Rory, one of our favorites?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Nope. Here, we're going to go with JT, though. He's about, what are we doing face on here? Good. Okay. So let's kind of take a look here, okay? Let's come on, gather on in here a little bit. So we can see we're still kind of set up a little bit reverse, okay? So I want to have that feeling, okay? When I look down here, I want to have that feeling like my hips are here and my chest is away from it.
Yep.
Okay, we got to get that feeling. We got to work on that. Okay, for our setup here. Okay, so here's the player's box, like we talked about with that little device that you guys have there, which is great. Okay, let's take a look and see. Okay, good. We're getting less of that reverse pivot. Okay, we're getting less of that head down. So I'm seeing some improvement here. Okay. Okay. All right. And then we have a little early extension right here with the hands, right? Early.
You're way behind there, right?
Mm-hmm. Way behind, right? So here's the thing: is he's taking it really far back, okay? Which is okay. I'm not too upset with that. I don't mind. But the thing is that I bet he feels like he's starting unwinding from the top and not from the bottom. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, because you can see, like, the hands are before the hips.
Correct. If you were fishing, it'd be great. Okay, I mean, you're throwing that thing out there, but it's not the best that we need for golf. Okay, so what we need to kind of have is we need to kind of keep that wrist set. Okay. Great job with the wrist set. If I got you to stop right here, okay, and stand right there, if I got you to stop right here, okay, which is a great position to be in, we don't need to be any further than that, right? And then if I could get you to feel like you're maintaining that angle and driving the butt of that club back down towards the ball. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. As far as that's concerned, okay? But the big thing is that we've got to get that feeling, right? Look at JT, of when he shifts into it, right? You see how he shifts into it?
Yeah.
He still keeps his arms kind of back. He's not really throwing his arms, but what he's doing is he's pressing into the ground here, which is pressing back up into his hip, which is going to accelerate the club form. All right? See how he's maintaining that angle?
Yep.
Okay. Now, the reason I picked JT is he's about the best player that kind of goes outside of the box. Does that make sense?
I wasn't watching, but
So you see the box right here?
yeah.
Okay. See how he goes out?
On the downswing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See how his hip
Yeah,
kind of
he's
goes?
breaking that plane about
Yeah.
8 inches, 6 inches.
Right? So he does a good job of breaking through there, okay? But the big thing is for Thomas here, right, is that we need to start getting the spine back. So if I got you here, right, we take a look, right? Ooh, put a line right here. All right, there's JT's spine. There's your spine. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Much closer to where we want to be. Okay. From where we were last time, we were way over here. Okay. So it takes time. So I'm proud of you. Okay. But one thing we need to kind of do is maybe the length of swing doesn't need to be so long, which kind of carries us over there. Right. So if I kind of go right here and I got you here, right, you're not so far over. Okay. Boom. Okay. Now the other thing is, and let me kind of give you a feel here, kind of get up to the top for me, please, with your club. Okay. Good. Good. Right. And now I'm going to kind of give you the feel. Right. So I need to kind of feel like I'm pressing into that ground with my left foot. Yep. You see how that starts everything down?
Yep.
Okay. So what I'm going to have you do is I want you to kind of bring your heel up and then stomp it down. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Right? You're not moving your arms, are you?
No.
Right? They're kind of staying in the same position. You're still maintaining this angle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the big thing we got to kind of learn here, right? This is our big learning moment, right? So as I kind of go, and this might be what we kind of do here a little bit, is I might get my heel up off the ground, stomp. You see how that goes? See how my hips go in this direction as I fall back?
Yep.
Okay, so as I get up to the top, stomp. Don't move your hands, stomp. Let your arms come down naturally. That's going to be the way that it starts. You can see everything's moving. I'm recentering. Does that make sense, big guy? Mm-hmm. Okay, so swing up to the top for me and give me a heel stomp, okay? Start to kind of get a feel for that. Yeah. So here we go. Let me kind of show you here, right? So we want to kind of, as we kind of go, right? It's going to be, see how I'm going up?
Yeah.
See how the heel and the swing are going up together? Okay. You got to get that heel up. Okay. See, just going to take time. Okay. Good. Up to the top. All right, you got to stomp that heel first before we come down. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, that's just going to take time. All right, so here we go. All right, heel needs to be coming up, 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 up. There you go. Now stomp it. There you go. You feel that little movement that we get with the arms coming down?
Yeah.
Okay. That's just a little microcosm of what we got to kind of do. Yeah, there you go. Everything's starting right off the bat right there. Good. Better. Okay. Right. All right. Okay. All right, up to the top. Okay, stay right there. Okay. Stomp. Good. Now you feel how everything's coming down? Now we need to get this elbow in a better position. You see how it's getting out here on us? You need to be in this position right here, okay? So if we kind of take a look at JT down the line here, right? See how he keeps that elbow kind of tucked? I can see that your elbow's kind of getting flying out a little bit. Does that make sense, big guy? All right, big guy. All right, we need to have that heel coming up right as we're taking the club back. There you go. Good. So the other thing that this is going to do, right, which I like about it, it shortens up your backswing, right? Because you know what you're worried about? What's going on down there.
Yeah.
Not letting everything go.
So is it accurate to say this is like an exaggeration drill? Like when he's really playing, you don't want him necessarily turning his heel up high, do you?
No, I mean, it's not common in today's golf, I'll be honest with you. But as far as like a drill, I think it's great. There are a few players that still do it. I mean, there are a few guys on the tour that still do it a little bit, but it's really just a timing thing. If it works for him, I don't care, to be honest with you. If he's one of those people that's like Jack, that
I was
gets...
just gonna say, didn't Jack do that?
Jack did that, you know. There's a lot of things that Jack Nicklaus did that nobody copies, and I don't understand why. You know, his putting, his hitting, and stuff like this. But, you know, I think for a timing standpoint, especially to make sure that we get rid of that early release at the top, if I can get him to get here, stomp, one, we start to shorten up our backswing just naturally, right? And then I start to get a feel for this, everything coming down towards the ground instead of out and away, right? Does that make sense?
I had 2 lessons 33 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and we didn't have any of this, right?
Yeah.
And the way the guy taught me was fire the hip. Fire the hip.
Absolutely.
And it clicked for me, and my game improved immediately.
Absolutely. You know, that's a huge source of our power is our hips, right? And a lot of people, you know, especially when they start getting into golf, it's all about arms or baseball or I got to hit it, right? But then once you start to utilize these hips in a proper manner, we start to send the ball, okay? So let's just kind of do a couple practice swings here, right? We're not trying to kill the ball, okay? But I want you, and I'm going to demonstrate here real quick for you so you get a kind of view real quick. Let me jump on in there real quick on you, okay? All right, and I'm not really worried, I'm not so concerned about contact as much as I am just trying to get that feeling of dropping the club down. Okay, so here we go. This is how I'd kind of do it. Okay, let me exaggerate that one more time. Really exaggerate it. Okay, so I'm going to get on up here. right? I may do that a couple times, get that feeling of pumping down, right? So I get up here, here, stomp, stomp, through, okay? Does that kind of help you out a little bit? Come on in here, big guy. Okay, it's kind of what we want to do. Okay, all right, and let's be mindful of our setup, right? Okay, we want to feel like our sternum's tilted ever so slightly. Yep, there we go, good. Okay, let's stomp, try to get that heel up. Mm-hmm. Much better. How's that feeling for you, partner?
Good.
Okay. Are you feeling how the club's coming down on you now and not going out in a way or trying to, you know, use our arms or shoulders to move it down?
Yeah.
Good. Good. Okay. Let's hit a few balls. What do you say?
Alright.
Okay.
Should I switch clubs?
Yeah, let's grab a 7-iron or a 8-iron or something. Something a little bit different. Start moving it around a little bit on us. There you go, good. Okay. What is that, your 8-iron?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do you usually carry that?
Not
Not
154.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. I'm like, holy cow, dude. What did we just do? I love it. There we go. There we go. Okay.
That's part of his problem when he plays is one time the 8-iron goes 140 and one time it goes 150. Right?
Yeah.
It's inconsistency in his swing.
And that's, you know, I think that's kind of a little bit of the early release. You know, if we hold that angle, we get enough. If we don't. Okay. I want to take a look at that one. I think we had a little early release with the hands, just a little bit. Let me take a look, okay?
Screw up my shoulders.
All right. Getting better on the turn, okay? We're not there yet, okay, but we are getting there. And I like that. Okay. Head still kind of going down just a little bit. All right, one thing I kind of see here just a little bit, okay, is if we kind of take a look, we kind of peer in onto the left shoulder and the left hip here a little bit, right? Just kind of watch the lines that we have here. You see how you're going down,
Yeah.
okay? I'd like to kind of see that if we look at JT here a little bit, right? It's a little bit more level, okay? It kind of goes down just a smidge, but you really start getting that hip down, which gets this knee really bent, right? So we get a lot of stuff going back behind us a little bit, and then our chest kind of, right? So the big thing I see here is if you look at this knee, how it's getting real buckled in over here,
Yeah.
right? That's because our hip's gone down so much, right? Since my hip's gone down, I have to put flex into this knee. Does that make sense? Okay. Right, so if I could get you kind of more like Like, yes, yes. You see how, now let's take a look, right? So do that one more time for me. Do that exactly how you did if you can. Right? Okay, good. So what I want you to kind of notice here, go again. Okay? Do you notice your belt buckle's pointing more down here?
Yeah.
Where this guy is kind of starting to go like this, out and away from us a little bit, okay? So I want you to kind of be mindful of where your belt buckle is, right? So go again. Yep, there you go, good. Right? Once again. Yeah, yeah. You see how your hips are much more level now?
Yep.
Okay. I bet you're not feeling this huge crunch inside here, right?
No.
Okay. So if we went back to our old movement, right, with that left hip going really down, then you see how that left knee's got to get really bent?
Yeah.
And then for you to turn behind it, you're going to take that knee and really move it back behind you.
Yep.
You see how you get that right there?
Yep.
Okay, so that's part of what we want to kind of do here a little bit, right? I want you to kind of feel, no. Yeah, we don't want that. Right, so go again. Okay. All right. There you go. Okay. Okay, you feel how we're getting some resistance there? Okay, once again for me, big guy. Yeah. You see what we're doing right there? Okay. So now we've got space just like JT right there to move our hips in a proper manner. Okay, once again, big guy. Yeah. Okay. So how you want to practice that, right? That's a little movement pattern that we got to kind of work on just a little bit. Impact back. Get right here, okay? If my knee starts to go inside, I'd be like this, right? So I want to kind of feel as I kind of turn, my left shin or calf kind of gets into the bag, but I don't want it to get really into it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that's going to be something that we kind of got to work on just a little bit, right? As we kind of turn, right? Keeping some space right here and not having it all collapse in here. Because once that happens, then I'm going to move my chest in that direction.
By the way, I told you his back was hurting.
Yeah,
And this is like all starting to kind of add up.
yeah,
When I asked him where it was hurting, I was worried about his spine.
Mhm.
It's all this right in here.
yeah.
I'm wondering if that's all that pinching here. Yeah.
That's the first move that we have right here. You can see this is where it hurts, right? You've put a lot of stress into this left area right here with all your arms. You're asking it to support a lot of weight and a lot of fast movement.
We played like 14 holes recently,
Mhm.
and he didn't want to go to the range for 2 days after that.
I didn't even want to finish.
All
I
right.
was like done after hole 7.
Yeah, and this is why we really need to get you to, not that, if you want to go and play on the highest level, I'm fine with that. But the big thing I'm looking for is making sure that you have a swing when you're 40 years old, that you're not saying, F this, I need to go play darts or something. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be a big thing for you right now. Now, I guess my big question to you as a young kid, did you swing a very heavy club at all? When you were a little kid, did you swing like an adult club or something like that?
No,
I've only
I
been
don't.
playing 15 months.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I played like a little bit when I was still doing baseball, and I have like a set of kids clubs, but that was like a couple months.
Okay. Because what I kind of see here just a little bit is like the club is a little heavy, right? And so you're kind of to start it, we're kind of dropping this left shoulder a little bit to kind of get it going. So that's why I was kind of wondering if you, when you were a junior, if you started off with a heavy club, because that's usually what I see with kids is they kind of like this, you know what I mean, as they come through. So that's why I was asking that question. All right, but the big thing is we need to start having our hips turn a little bit level. That's going to help with our lower back and where you're hurting it right now. Does that make sense? Okay. Does that kind of answer that question right there? Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's kind of feel like that hip's kind of turning more level and not down. Okay, good. Okay. Let's keep going. Okay. Okay. that one feel a little flippy for us?
Yeah.
Okay.
He has started hitting a big draw lately. Like, where'd that come from?
Okay. Okay. Stay right there. There you go. Head up just a little bit for
Yep.
me. There you go. There you go. Good. Down. I get it. All right, let's take a look at that big guy real quick, okay? All right, let's see how our hips are doing here. Still going down just a little bit, but getting better, okay? Now here we go. Let's see how we're doing. Yep, we're a little too far with that. That's okay. Yeah, and then we got the hips just kind of going and we've lost our angle. There's where our big hook's coming from, right? And our, what's that?
From what?
Right here. So as you can kind of see, right, he's stopped his chest. The hands are going to start to flip. See where his chest is here? It's not coming on through. Does that make sense, big guy? Okay.
I see it. I just don't know how to fix it.
It's going to take time. The big thing is mirror work. We got to get into mirror work, right? We got to start seeing what our body's kind of doing a little bit. Okay. So, give me one more here. Give me a hit. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So here's the big thing. We got to kind of work with that early release. Okay. And this is just going to take a little time and work. Okay. And I know it's a left-handed club, but that's all right. All right, so we got to kind of get to the point where I get your hand maybe like right about here, okay? And we got to feel like we're driving that butt of the club back down into that bag, okay? So I've got to have that feeling when I get here, boom, okay? For you right now, it's kind of like the feeling like this,
Yep.
right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so let's take that guy on out,
Yep.
okay? And let's work on, okay? Good. So bring it on back here for me. All right, hinge that. Okay, we're going to get right to here. Okay, now go ahead and get into that bag. Try to maintain that angle. Okay, good. Again. Okay. Now, here's the thing that I kind of see here, at least with that, right, is that the right elbow is getting stuck behind you. Okay, so here we go. Set up again. Okay, hinge it up. Okay, good. All right, keep that elbow in front. Better. Feel where we're at there?
Yeah.
Okay, now that's an exaggeration, okay, but you're not going to see, okay, let's take a look at him, okay. See where his elbow is?
Yeah.
Okay, your elbow's back here in this area, okay? All right, so we need to kind of have that elbow once again. Just kind of give it a good feel here, okay? All right, up to the top quarter. Good. Bring it on down for me. Yeah. Okay. See how much more your chest is rotating through impact now?
Yep.
Okay. Now that's an exaggeration. Okay, I want you to understand that. We're exaggerating this. Okay, give me a little wider stance. There we go. Good. Bring it on back here for me. Okay, good. All right. Feel like we're driving the butt of that club back into that bag. Okay. Good. Okay, see how we're getting our elbow in front now?
Yeah.
Okay. So that tells me that we're maintaining our, See how it's getting stuck back there? Yeah. So this is a drill I don't really like, but it may help you. Okay, so have we ever seen the old video where we get the thing right here? All right, let me kind of give this to you. So we're going to put this right inside your belt loops right there. Put that one right in there. Got it? Okay, so we're going to take the long end, put it right here. All right, give me just a little small swing here, okay? Small swing. Okay, come on down. Yeah, where are you at? Okay. This is not my favorite drill, but this is really something that's going to show, yeah. Okay.
Is your elbow supposed to be like that?
Yeah, so let me kind of show you here. I'll kind of demonstrate here, okay? This is something we're going to need to work on, okay? This is a drill we need to kind of focus in on. Okay, so if I kind of see your club here just a little bit, right? So if I kind of get that right here, as so, right? See where I'm at?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm not particularly fond of maybe hitting balls with this thing. Somebody get hurt, okay? But if I kind of practice and I go like this, right? You see how I'm getting that club back down in front of me here, where that elbow is, okay? Right here, 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 here. For you, it'd be like this, right? Okay. So once again, here, okay, and just kind of do it slowly, right? I feel my arms coming down, right? Pressing into the ground, keeping that elbow in front. Does that make sense, big guy?
Yeah.
Okay, come on. All right. Put that right between your belt buckle. There you go, big guy. Okay, and we're just going to kind of put like a little short side right there, okay? So just kind of do that slowly for me, okay? Let's do it together. Here we go. Come on, bring it on back. Okay, good. All right, so if I get you turned deep, right, good. Now bring that hands down. Better, okay? It's going to take a little time for this, right? All right. Okay. Okay, good. Bring your arms down. No, 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 just bring your arms down. Yeah, better, okay. So we want to kind of have more of this, right? The arms falling, right? But for you, you kind of get like this, and then you start kind of turning everything kind of all together, and you get
Yeah.
that guy stuck behind you. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, here we go, once again. Yep. All right. Okay, here we go. All right, good. All right. Feel like this elbow is driving into our side a little bit. There you go. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's do it again. Okay. Up to the top. Okay. Arms falling. Okay. Now if I get you to turn and rotate out, good. Okay. That's extreme. Okay. And we're going to have to kind of work on that just a little bit. Let's take that out. Okay. Once again. Okay. Up to the top. Good. Good. Yeah. Get that elbow in front of you. Get that elbow in front of you, okay? Right? Mm-hmm. Good. Better. Better. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, I'm going to go with a little different drill here for you. Okay. So we're going to do this together, okay? Once you take your right arm, put it right out there. Take your left, hook it around. Okay, good. All right, we're going to get on up to the top. Okay? You're going to feel like you're driving that elbow to start. Yep. Okay. Good. Here. Here. All right, good. Drive that elbow. Better. Let that arm be down. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so it's going to be like this. All right. Get arm just like this. Okay, good. Up. All right. Feel this turning it in. All right. Okay. Try to hold your hips back just a little bit for me. There we go. Okay, bring your arms down. There you go. Better. Okay, once again. Yeah. Okay, good. Better. No, no, no. Here we go. Once again. I'm going to hook that thing right around just like that. There we go. Okay. Uh-huh. Better. Okay. Trying to keep that elbow in front of us, right?
Is the left hand like doing something there? Or?
It's keeping it in front. So if I kind of go like this, it's to make sure that I don't get here. Okay, that's the big problem that he's having right there, right? So if I can get him to get here, right? We're pressing into that ground with my left foot, right? Making sure my arms are coming down, okay? And then as I come through here, then I'm really rotating my hips really hard through here at impact, okay? But he's got to keep, yeah, all right, for you. Get that hip out of the way. Okay, does that make sense, big guy?
Yep.
Let's do it again. Okay, good. All right. There we go, good. All right, now go. Oh, hold on. Set up. Here, set up again. Good. All right, let me kind of move it here. No, we don't need to move that hand. There we go, good. Okay, we don't need to go this direction. Okay, keep that width that we have with our hand. All right, and now as we kind of turn, okay, try to keep your hip back just a little bit. Here we go. Set up again. All right, back up to the top. Okay, bring your arms down. There you go. Okay, you don't need your hips to outrace the up top. Okay. Good. Much better. Yeah. Yes. Okay, see how you're able to maintain that angle?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look at JT here with his arm, and then we'll give you a few drills and let you go. All right, see how he's keeping that arm, that elbow tucked to his left side, or his right side right there? Okay, that's big for us right there. Okay, so let's talk about what you need to work on. Okay, first things first, we need to work on our setup. Okay, I want us to get ourselves in a good position. Okay, I want us to feel like our sternum is slightly away from the target. Okay, I don't want us like this, and I want to feel like my hip, right, if I took it, I just kind of bump it forward just a little bit, okay? Now, the other thing we got to kind of work on is our hips, right? We got to make sure if I had a point here and a point here, I don't need it to go like this, okay? I need it to turn more level and up. Does that make sense? The left hip's going to go down a little bit, obviously, because the right hip's going to go up.
Yeah.
But I don't want to try to go do this. Try to force it, right? Then I get this crunch on this left side, and I'm going to get stuck somewhere at this point, right? So I want to kind of have that feeling, right, as I get here, up, right? Belt buckle pointing more in this direction. And then the other thing that we need to kind of work on with those hips in junction with that is I would get a bag just as so, right? And then feel my hips going level and around, okay? Right? So if I got here, level and around, okay? You can see when I do this, my chest and everything gets over here, which we need, okay? Now, the other thing that we need to kind of work on is our arm structure, right, our elbow, right? So what I would do is I would get that thing hooked in just as so, just small little swings. Try to get a feel for what that elbow does, okay? Here, here, okay? Try to get your elbow in front of you, okay? Don't try to get your hips, right? Because you kind of get here, and then you kind of get everything turning, and you get like this, okay? So it's going to be here. Get those arms in front of me, okay? And then turn out of the way. Does that make sense, big guy?